Much for stopping by another live episode of Real Estate Titans. I'm your host, Greg Fowler, traveling throughout the marketplace, interviewing the top real estate professionals in our field, from realtors, lenders, builders, developers, residential or commercial. Essentially gathering insight, inspiration, really drives and motivates these top producers above and beyond everybody else in what I'd like to consider a real estate titan. Our very special guest and feature titan for today, Tanya Stevenson. Tanya, thank you so much for being on the show. Really excited, fist bump. So I really am in excitement for anticipation. I know there's a lot of people out here who are really wanting to dive in deep to your brand, who you are as a person, a professional. So if you want to just dive right in, that'd be great.
Sure. So I'm a fourth generation native of Colorado Springs.
Okay.
I graduated from Palmer High School.
Love it.
My youngest daughter is a fifth generation graduate of Palmer.
Okay, so it goes back, right?
Way back.
Very cool.
And so my mom got my younger sister and I into modeling. And we went on the road with Redken doing hair modeling.
Okay.
And we did some runway, print, marketing.
Okay.
But that really instilled in me, I had like a deep desire to travel, to meet new people, to kind of expand my horizons.
Okay.
Yeah, so then I went off to college in Dallas, Texas, and I studied fashion merchandising design and interior design.
Was that a progression because of the modeling background that your interest kind of sparked that way, or was there another influence?
No, I think it was pretty much that.
Okay.
And so I had studied it, and I was very interested in the architecture of houses, old vintage buildings.
Okay, cool.
And so in moving to Dallas, I really loved like the whole kind of big city scene, the restaurants, the concerts, the nightlife.
Cool.
I loved being in Dallas and learning about the music and in Austin and Dallas.
Okay.
And with that, it really helped me to kind of expand my horizons, learn more about me, kind of what my goals were, what my visions were, and I had realized at a young age that I needed to pay my own way through college, and I had the modeling career.
Okay, yeah.
And so that paid my way through school and through life.
Huge.
Big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's so inspiring to me, is that you went after something, you found a means to do so, and you were hitting your goals and excelling and exceeding that.
Absolutely.
So what was the progression after that? So you went to school, you're in Dallas. I mean, what brought you, I guess, into real estate and here in Colorado and Colorado Springs?
Well, after I graduated school, I had missed like my family greatly, but I still had the desire to go spread my wings, meet new people, have new cultural experiences.
Sure.
So I moved back to Colorado Springs briefly, was hired into the retail industry.
Okay.
And then from there, I was still working though and modeling at the Dallas Apparel Mart.
Oh.
So it's working and traveling back to Dallas.
Wow. Okay.
And then I was hired by the Merriground Enterprises.
Okay.
And it was a really popular late 80s, kind of early 90s hip design store. And so I started working for them.
Okay.
And then I was very early promoted. They moved me to Portland, Oregon.
Oh, okay.
So I worked there briefly, and then in about 6 months, they had moved me to Seattle, Washington.
Wow. So there is a lot of movement for that particular. Okay, which is a good thing, right? I mean, opportunity.
Opportunity, meeting people, new culture.
Yeah.
So I lived there and had the opportunity of opening 8 new stores.
Wow. Okay.
So I had lived there and done that, and I absolutely fell in love with the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So it was so beautiful. I loved the people, the food, the diversity, the culture. And then with that, it was so interesting because I lived there in the early 90s.
Okay.
And it was this whole like musical kind of cultural scene.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm an artist. I love art. I love the culture. I love the diversity, the restaurants, and so in that time, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden was founded, and I was right in the heart of that. So I'd met these people,
Sure.
had rubbed shoulders with these people, and then later was able to share the experience with my children.
Wow.
And they love these artists and just like the whole scene.
Sure. Sure.
So
I'm, you know, through myself and my brother Jer, you know, big into that, and I grew up in Washington, and it's just really interesting to look at that. And I think of, you know, David Grohl, you know, it's still around, kind of doing this thing with Foo Fighters, and I just did you meet him specifically? No. Okay, because I was going to ask you. This would be another show in here, you know, but
not him.
Okay, very cool. Yeah,
Eddie Vedder.
Oh wow.
Kurt Cobain.
Oh my gosh.
Chris Cornell.
Okay.
Yes.
Really? So some of the main characters, right? The main players.
Big players.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, so with your progression into that, that's a totally different world that very few people have access to and kind of going through. So what was the transition and progression from that? I mean, that's, you know, very successful, moving around, opening, you know, stores, being involved in that scene. What's the next step for you? Like what happened?
So for me, I was really missing family.
Mm-hmm.
I was a single mom,
Okay.
divorced mom at the time.
Yeah.
And so I had decided it was probably best to move back, be with family. I miss my hometown. I love Colorado Springs.
Yeah, all right.
Miss my family. And so, although I was very successful in Seattle, and there for me, I had learned to be a great salesperson with the merry-go-round. I had learned great managerial skills. And my biggest thing was like people would come into the store, I'd help them, they'd look like $1 million. And they'd walk out and just feel so good about themselves.
Wow.
So I had learned that skill, and it was something that I later used that in real estate.
Okay.
So I moved back in the late 90s to Colorado Springs, back home. Like I said, as a single mom. And my mom, Sandy Daniels, was in real estate, good at it, loved it. She had brought it up to me, thought that I would enjoy it. And I had agreed because it's something that was familiar to me in that I could use my college career to use. I loved people, and obviously her, and she was good at it.
Right.
So it took me a while. I got into it, but it was very hard to balance being a mom, finances, schedule, a professional career, and just to get into the business. And so finally, she was at a different brokerage, and so was I, and we joined forces in 1998.
Cool. Okay.
And we started Park Avenue Properties.
Okay. So that's really the progression going through. So from that start point to today, because you've been in the business for a while and you've seen so much and grown in your family and your clients and made such a beautiful impact in this community, what's that been like for you? I mean, the fulfillment and the changes and everything
So
with
it's
this.
been 22 years for me.
22 years, everybody. This is huge. This is great.
And every minute of it, I really loved.
Okay.
I love helping people. At the end of the day, I'm going to lay down my head and think, I helped this person. Whether it's personal, financial, any kind of circumstance, I want to help them.
Right.
Whatever, however I can. And for me, I had a very big burning desire to go out on my own.
Okay.
And if I was going to work these long hours like I had in my past career, that it was going to be a benefit to me and to my family. And my whole view had changed in that I was very family oriented. I wanted to be with my family. Again, if I was going to work 10 or 12 hours a day, that it was going to be a benefit to my career, my finances, my family.
Sure.
It was a big deal.
Okay. And I think that, at least to me, there's so much backstory, which to me I absolutely love, and really getting to know somebody and their background and what got them in. I guess that's a beautiful segue into really what's your why? I mean, what motivates you to do what you do to the level that you do it at?
Sure. So for me, it's my children, and I have 2 grandkids.
Oh my gosh, that's so great.
So for me, that's my big why.
Okay.
And I grew up in a pretty tumultuous childhood.
Okay.
And so for me, I just really wanted to be able to impact my children and their children.
Wow.
So every month I fund my grandchildren's college funds.
Oh, great.
Big priority.
Yeah.
I love them, and I want them to be able to step into the world and choose whether it's college, trade school, self-employment.
Sure.
That they have no hindrances, no financial hindrances.
Right.
So they can step in, they can choose that, and they can go do whatever makes them happy first.
Sure.
It's important.
Yep.
Happy's very important. And then they can go support their families and have a career.
That to me, as far as a why is concerned,
Huge.
It's as big as it gets, right? I mean, it's family, it's legacy. It's not only your kids but your grandkids
And their heirs.
Yeah, right. I mean,
All of the above.
Think about that, and I don't think there's a greater thing that you can do to help somebody in that way. We had a fellow Titan on this series already that had a similar why that way, and I thought it was beautiful. I thought, wow, what an amazing thing, what an opportunity, and you just don't know what that extra is going to give them, you know, the passion and the fire to be able to do what they truly love and not have to worry about it, because there's so much to worry about in this life, and finances is a big thing, right?
Yes.
So I love that why. I mean, it's super strong. So, and that makes a ton of sense into what really drives you and motivates you to do the best you can for your clients, and because it's really for your family, and your clients become your family at the end of that too. So,
yes.
But let's go into the advisory portion of this, because a lot of the viewers, whether they're new or seasoned, they really, really want to know what the Titans are doing to grow. How are they taking their business from one level to the next? So if you could look back at your career thus far, pick or choose 1 or 2 things that you added to your business or did that took it from one level to the next. What does that look like for you?
So mine is probably very different.
All right, let's hear it.
Very different. For me, again, I came from, it was hard.
Okay.
My childhood and early adulthood was very hard.
Right.
And I had to choose forgiveness.
Wow.
And with that, I learned to forgive and to move on and to move forward. And with it, it brought a lot of happiness and joy, energy that I could help others.
Wow. I mean...
And that's really it. It was forgiveness, whether professionally, but personally, whatever it is, I had to do that.
To me, I love that, and to anybody that's watching, I mean, what really sticks out to me is you putting yourself in the right state of mind, and that forgiveness aspect to say it's okay to move on and forgive, you know, to really put yourself in that right space to do the best job you possibly can to project the happiness and positive nature that I feel every time I sit with you and every time we hang out. I know that, you know, anybody who's watching this who already knows Tanya feels the same way, but I just think that the warm and inviting and happy nature, obviously you're just sharing your secret is, hey, it's forgiveness, right? I mean, I think that's it. And
absolutely.
it doesn't have to be about systems or coaches or marketing. I mean, right? It's just the simplicity.
I mean, I have statistics that we need to follow as a team, personally, professionally, and we do.
Sure.
I mean, they help us achieve, and we have a team motto.
Oh, okay.
Which I brought or signed today, so I didn't forget.
Right over there. One word.
Focus.
Love it.
So focus. So it's family.
Okay.
Number 1 priority, always. Opportunity. We all have opportunities, but it's what we do with them.
Sure.
And Then we have commitment. So whether it's personally, professionally, it's a big deal.
Right.
Unity. Everybody has to have unity in business, professionally, as a team. And my big thing is service
Okay.
and helping others, serving the community, being a part of it, serving my team, my family, my kids.
Wow.
Big deal.
There's a ton there into just focus, right? So hopefully everybody wrote that down. I mean, that resonates with so many people and professionals that way, and I think if more were really focused on those things, the higher level.
Break them down.
Yeah, I think that's great. So huge things to grow and compel. Yes. So again, hopefully everybody really enjoyed that portion, and I know that it's a really, really important part of this particular interview process. So let's go into the tricky part of this particular interview. Okay. It's the challenge question. Now, everybody deals with challenges in their life. No one's exempt. Everybody who's watching this, you're included into this. Whether it's in the past, now, or into the future, we all deal with struggle. And some are projected as worse than others, but we all have it. Sure. I think that at the end of the day, it's not so much what happens, but how we respond, right? What the attitude is. So if you were comfortable sharing a challenge that you dealt with, that you overcame, became stronger because of it, what's that look like?
So me, I was, it's painful, but I had an abusive alcoholic father that left my mom, my two sisters, and myself when I was 9 years old.
Wow.
And I think with that, though, I watched my mom persevere. I mean, she went out and she didn't have a job. She worked. Okay. She got into real estate. She struggled, but she was positive. Okay. Like, she taught us how to be positive. And so with that, I just learned so much. And it was a burning passion in me to go out and work hard. Okay. And to succeed and to make a name for myself, but really bigger, to not be that person. Right. To help my children, my grandchildren, and my mom is really just a hero. And that she did that, and she taught me all of these things, and I'm such a better person because of it. I run my team that way, my life that way. My kids are fantastic because of that. You know, it's first of all, thanks for sharing, because it's not easy to air things out in front of everybody that way, especially struggle on a personal note that way, and to be that young, to be dealing with that level of stress, I can only imagine. But I love the fact that you looked at it from the standpoint of looking at what your mother did and the strength that she had and the example, absolutely. Right? And you took that into a positive, out of a negative situation, say, I'm never going to deal with this, I'm not going to have this in my life. And I think that that's kind of the whole message for everybody out there, is we're all dealing with things, and you can't judge a book by its cover. You really just want to be fortunate and understand how blessed we all are, no matter what we're going through. Think more so about what we have and what we don't have. Yes, right? It's a blessing. It could always be worse. Sure, truly. So I mean, I love that, and I appreciate that. Hopefully everybody does as well. It's not easy to do that. Yeah. Let's go a little softer. That's all right, sure, everybody. Let's go on the other end of this. So this is actually one of my favorite questions. If you could travel back in time and speak to your younger self at any time frame and give yourself a piece of advice or two, what would you say to your younger self? Sure. I would say enjoy life. Enjoy it. Enjoy the moment, the journey, the memories. Because I look back, I have 2 grown children. Right. And one that's 16, and I'm a grandmother twice. Right. And I just look back and think, what beautiful memories, and enjoy them. Like, don't get caught up in the work or the moment or the stress. Because you look back and it goes by fast. And I have been blessed, and enjoy, just love them and enjoy it. I think that's huge advice. It's not just for your younger self. Everybody who's watching, myself included. Younger, older,
all the way through.
Because life is stressful.
Yeah,
And our business is stressful.
truly.
Very stressful.
But learn to really
stop. Turn it off. Be in the moment. Love your kids. Love your family.
Hopefully everybody's hearing this. Turn that up, rewind it, listen to that again. I know I'm going to do that. I think that's huge.
So important.
That is huge
So important.
advice. Okay, so let's go into a slightly different portion of this because I think that this is great. And we're on a roll kind of with the giving really heavy advice and knowledge. So this is kind of the feeding of the mind portion, which is actually a crowd favorite of the series, is to really understand and know how the Titans are feeding their minds. So if you could share how you're doing that with maybe possibly books you're reading, podcasts you're listening to, influencers of social media, what are you doing to feed your mind?
Well, I do have to say I saw you speak.
Okay. I don't know where this is going, everybody.
No, super inspiring to me. It was what I needed to hear at the moment. I came back and told my team, like, this is what we needed. It really was.
Wow.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll have to pay you later.
No,
Tanya,
it was such a big deal. But
cool. Thank you for
we
saying
do
that.
follow Brian Buffini.
Okay.
We love him. Tom Ferry organization.
Love it.
I do have a coach,
Okay.
Melody Moser. Love her. And she has taught me really more than anything, it wasn't about business. So she taught me step back and you need to take care of yourself and your health, your well-being. So I was so busy taking care of others
Right.
that I wasn't taking.
Wow.
And so she taught me to focus and take care of myself. And with that, I've had so much more energy to focus on just my kids and my life, the team, and the business. We almost doubled last year.
Wow. And think about those simple
huge.
things. There's so many people that forget that, and I've done this in my life as well.
Everybody.
We want to give and we want to help and serve.
That's why we're in the business.
Truly, but we can't forget about us too, right? I mean, you can't help somebody until you help yourself, that kind of adage. But that's something that's not really addressed to a lot of people out loud. I mean, we all feel like we know that, but how many of us really practice
Do
that?
it. Go do it.
Listen to what Tanya's saying here. This is
For
great.
me, my personal life became impeccable.
Okay.
And my business soared. We almost doubled our numbers in 1 year.
Wow. You heard it here. This is
Thank
real.
you, Melody.
This is live. Melody, thank you. So is there anything else? I mean, there was a lot, but is there anything else that you're growing or feeding your mind? I think, were we talking about music?
Yes.
Okay, so
I mean, I love books.
Okay.
I do podcasts, but my biggest thing is music.
Okay.
Super inspired. I mean, in Dallas, I was exposed to fantastic music.
Sure.
Seattle, lived in the heart of it.
Right.
For me, the biggest thing, I love John Bon Jovi.
Okay, yeah.
Great artist, great person, philanthropist. I love him. But my biggest love, everybody teases me, is Johnny Resnick from the Goo Goo Dolls.
Really? Okay, explain this a little bit for everybody.
He is he's a total lyrical artist. He came from a bad situation, broken home.
Okay.
Both of his parents died by the time he was 12.
Wow.
And he writes music, it's real, it's raw, he speaks from the heart, and it speaks to me. It's my soul, my heart, my healing is music.
It's huge. I think that's what's so great about this particular question in my mind and to everybody out there is there's so many different ways to open your heart and your soul and your mind to really soak up different things that you can expand and grow from. And it doesn't matter where you get it from.
No,
Books, podcasts, music, conversations,
I mean, I
movies.
listen to all of them, but for me, I flip on this switch, the music comes on, and I can create. I'm an artist, and I listen to it, and it just speaks to me and my soul.
I love it. And just so everybody knows, I'll have a bunch of links down below. So Bon Jovi will be there. So the Goo Goo Dolls, just so you know, those will be in the comments down below. So you can feed your mind the same way. So yeah. So anything else? Anything?
I do have this quote. I wrote it down.
Yeah. So final question, everybody.
Final.
Yeah. So this is great to really wrap everything up. To sum up you as a brand, as a professional, as a person.
Sure.
As you said, with a quote or a mantra that you live by.
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like for
A
Tanya
couple,
Stevenson?
but for me, the biggest one is those who dare to fail miserably can achieve greatly. That's by John F. Kennedy.
Wow, that's
It's a big deal because
it's
for
profound,
me,
really.
it is. I've succeeded, I've failed, probably failed more than I've succeeded, but I don't give up.
Yeah,
So it's a big deal.
I love that. I mean, to me, and that speaks volumes about you as a person, as a professional, right? It's just you're not letting something stop you, and if you need to get it done, you do what it takes. It's necessary to support your clients and your friends, your family, and then continue that legacy.
Yes.
I think it's awesome. I mean, so Tanya, I can't thank you enough for being on the show. It's been chock full of amazing information. You are an official real estate titan. I want to hug. Let's do that. So yeah, thank you so much. It was awesome. It was amazing. Everybody, thanks so much for your time, your support, your love, and continuous, tuning in and really showing that. As always, live every Tuesday and Friday, a different Titan, a different location. Please feel free to throw it a like, share with your friends, subscribe to the podcast or the YouTube channel if you really like what we're doing here. We'll catch everybody on the next live episode of Real Estate Titans. Take care.
Thank you. Oh my God, I was so nervous.
And wait. And we are almost